Friends, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be the greatest day of your life. You know, I do this video today thinking of my two daughters, my beautiful two daughters, who are bookworms. They're readers, and I tell you what, you're more likely to find them with their noses in a book than outside running around or riding a bike. It's just who they are. That's what they enjoy. And you know, it's taught me how fascinating it is when our childhoods shape us by growing up and we're found with our noses in a book. You know, and realize other people prefer the thrill of the sports field, but those of us who grew up devouring page after page instead of chasing a ball tend to develop unique traits that differentiate us from our sporty counterparts. And you know, you'll often find that people who spent their childhood lost in books have certain characteristics that make them stand out. You know, these traits, shaped by years of reading, are truly, in my opinion, distinctive. And you know, I'd like to explore today some traits that are often found in people who grew up reading books instead of playing sports, okay? First thing, people who read books usually exhibit exceptional creativity. You know, for those of us who practically lived between the pages of books, imagination was like our personal playground, right? I mean, each turn of the page unveiled a whole new universe, packed with characters, adventures, and endless possibilities. It was like we could jet off to distant lands without ever leaving our room. And let me tell you, all that exploring, it definitely gave our creativity a serious boost. You see, unlike sports with their rules and boundaries, reading has no limits. So us bookworms got really good at thinking outside the box, coming up with wild ideas and seeing things from all sorts of angles. And guess what? The creative streak tends to stick around, according to research, into adulthood. So we're the ones bringing the fresh and cool new ways of looking at stuff to the table. You know, so the next time you meet someone super creative, ask them if they spent their childhood nose deep in a good book, and I bet you'll get a yes answer. It's true. Readers are leaders. You know, and also, people who read exhibit strong empathy. You know, reading has this amazing way of teaching us empathy. You know, when I was a kid, I would just get lost in the lives of the characters in my books. You know, their ups, their downs, their whole journey. And I felt like it was all happening to me. That's one thing I really love about reading, that it provides me that TV just doesn't. You know, and let me tell you, all those experiences from reading books, they taught me to see things from all sorts of angles. I learned to understand emotions and viewpoints that were totally different from my own. It's a skill that lots of us bookworms pick up growing up. And you know, in my adult life, this is definitely translated into an ability to connect deeply with others. You know, whether it's understanding a friend's struggle or handling something at work, this empathy fostered by my early years of reading has been an invaluable trait that has built me over the years. You know, all that knowledge, all that information, all those experiences, they're all up here, and they can all be utilized when making decisions or determining next steps to take, because I have the experiences from the characters and the stories that I read when I was young. It's amazing. I just love reading. You know, it also enhances your language skills. You know, there is magic to reading that goes beyond the stories. In my opinion, it's the language itself. You know, the exposure to complex sentence structures, diverse vocabulary, and varied styles of writing enhances our command over language. And you know what? Research shows that children who read regularly tend to have a larger vocabulary and better grammar than those who don't. And you know, this linguistic prowess often carries us into adulthood, making us more articulate and expressive in our communication. And if you've ever wondered why bookworms are often eloquent speakers and skilled writers, now you know. It's the power of a book-filled childhood. You know, and book readers also have a profound understanding of people and cultures about those who don't read. You know, Books are windows to the world, offering glimpses into the lives and cultures of people from all corners of the globe. As kids, we might have been physically situated in our cozy bedrooms, but in our minds, we were exploring bustling bazaars in Morocco or navigating icy terrains in Antarctica. Maybe we went to the moon. It's one of those things, And this exposure to diverse characters and cultures fosters a deep understanding and appreciation of people. And as adults, this translates into an open-mindedness and cultural sensitivity that sets us apart. It's no surprise that those who grew up reading often display a profound understanding of people. It's a trait that is invaluable in our increasing and globalized world, and it's something that we pick up from books. It's amazing. People who read books also tend to have more inquisitive minds. Books are a treasure trove of knowledge. They raise questions, offer answers, and provoke thoughts. And for those of us who grew up reading, we're used to having our curiosity piqued and our assumptions challenged. That curiosity sticks with us even as we trade in our childhood reading books for adulting. We move from our childhood books into a more advanced pattern of reading. And we're always asking, always seeking, always itching to know more. It's like we've got this never-ending hunger for learning. So now, as adults, we're all about that lifelong love affair with learning. Whether it's diving into a new hobby or tackling a tricky subject or self-improvement, what we're doing here right now, we, us, meaning you and me, are all about seizing every chance we can get to soak up new knowledge and to keep growing, right? Absolutely. I get so excited about books. My kids are big readers. I just love reading. Reading can change your life like that. And I tell you, I picked up a lot of my reading prowess from watching shows like Reading Rainbow. I love LeVar Burton. He's one of my idols. I'd say he's one of my mentors. And he taught me that, I could find things in books that I was looking for in my life. And he was absolutely right. Because books in their own subtle way teach us about life's highs and lows. We vicariously experience love, loss, joy, despair, success, and failure through the characters we bond with in books. And this early exposure to the emotional spectrum helps us develop a certain level of emotional resilience. So through the pages of a book, we learn that it's okay to feel. It's okay to hurt. We learn that even in the darkest times, we can still find a new dawn. And as adults, this emotional resilience equips us to handle life's ups and downs with a balanced perspective. So we understand that life isn't always a fairy tale, but that doesn't mean it's any less beautiful. Another thing that we get from our love of books is an understanding and a comfort with solitude. And children who adore diving into books often develop a fondness for solitude as they grow. And reading opens up worlds of imagination and encourages creative thinking. So children who spend time immersed in books learn to create vivid mental images and scenarios, making solidarity and activities therein related more engaging and fulfilling. And I got to tell you, what's more, reading is an activity itself that fosters independence and resilience. And as children explore books on their own, they become accustomed to entertaining themselves and solving problems independently, making solitude a comfortable and enjoyable experience. It's something I pushed on my children since they were very, very young. Today, they love to read. The library is actually an activity that we do as a family on a regular basis. And above all, books provide a sense of comfort and security, offering a refuge from the hustle and bustle of the outside world. Another thing that I believe books offer us is a keen ability for observation. And while reading, we learn to pay attention to details. And from the description of the characters' expressions to the intricate layout of a fictional city, we develop a keen eye for detail that enhances our observational skills. And this ability to notice subtleties extends beyond the pages of our favorite books, because as adults, we often find ourselves observing and analyzing situations with a discerning eye, and we need to be able to catch details others might overlook. That can lead to a tremendous success in our lives. So whether it's noticing a slight change in a friend's mood or picking up hidden patterns at work, these observational skills prove to be an advantageous trait in our adult lives. And I continue to push reading for my children so they can attain some of these skills and benefit from the amazingness of books. People who read books tend to be lifelong learners. And why do bookworms often become lifelong learners, you might ask? And I say that when you spend your formative years with your nose buried in books, you're basically training your brain to crave knowledge like it's candy. Every page turn is like a new adventure, a fresh opportunity to learn something cool. So, as you grow up, that love for learning just sticks with you. It becomes part of who you are. You're not content with just scratching the surface. You want to dive deep, explore new ideas, and keep expanding your horizons. Life is all for growth. And as we're building the beautiful life that we want to live, having that ability and need to expand our horizons is important towards building the life that we deserve to have. Plus reading teaches you to be curious. You just start asking questions, you seek answers, and you never settle for good enough. Let's face it, once you catch that learning bug, there's no turning your back. You're going to be hooked for life. And I firmly believe that books have a profound way of shaping us. They transport us to other worlds, they introduce us to new perspectives, and they challenge our thoughts. But their power extends far beyond these experiences. And for those of us who grew up with books as our companions, they've shaped our traits in ways we may not even realize. From boosting our creativity and empathy to fostering a love for learning and solitude. These traits are the indelible imprints left by our childhood books. And what's incredible is that these traits aren't just abstract qualities. They shape our interactions, influence our decisions, and guide our lives in meaningful ways. Pick up a book. Today is a great day to identify a book you want to jump into. Read the first page. Then, read the first chapter. Take it slow. Read a page a day or a chapter a day. You know what you're going to find? You're not going to find something in the book that wasn't there before. You're going to find something within yourself that wasn't there before by reading page after page. You know what? I believe in you. I just want to share some amazing knowledge with you and information. I'd love to get you excited about books. You know what? Readers are leaders. And the more you read, the better you will be. Reading develops us in so many amazing ways. There's magic in the written word. That's why it's called spelling. Yes. So I'm going to be back tomorrow with some more great stuff. I'm probably going to go read a book real quick, probably Think and Grow Rich or U Squared. I tell you what, I just can't read those books often enough, and there's so much great knowledge and information in them. I'm going to keep reading so I can keep leading. I want you to be a reader so you can be a leader, and together we'll continue to walk down this path, and we're going to have the lives we deserve. We're going to have the lives we want because we're doing the right things. I care about you, friends. I'll be back tomorrow with some more things to keep you thinking and keep us moving down this path together. I just love it. I love coming back every day and talking with you and having this time together because you know what? I believe in you, and I'll see you tomorrow.